Good everyone, welcome to today's video. Today is the review on the P-63 C-5. Now what I thought I'd do first is I'm going to go briefly over the aircraft and find out differences between them. So that way I can give an opinion whether it's worth grinding the three P-63s in the American tree. Now, personally, I think they're worth it. However, you do have to take into considerations the differences. So we're going to start out with a C5 and we'll work our way up. And obviously I'll compare engines and things like that. So the P-63 C5 I believe has the most powerful engine, if we take a brief look. And it would appear I'm wrong, it would be the P-63 A10 that has the most powerful engine, yet this has the best performance. No idea why. But the main difference between the A10 and the C5 are these armoured doors. That is pretty much it from what I've been able to find. And a slight increase in top speed. Bomb load's the same, but other than that, these two planes are the same. It's just a minor performance buff in the P-63 C5, which I did feel in dives and things like that at high altitude, but in the long run, it's not going to make much of a difference. It's really when the P-63 A5 comes into play is when we get differences. Obviously, it uses a different cannon. This is the M4 cannon, which I believe is on the Aerograbber, and it has more machine gun ammo, less 37mm ammo, and can only carry a single 500-pounder bomb, whilst the other two can carry 3. Other than that, it is really the engine in this one which is a bit different. It's much less powerful by about 300 to, well, about 200 to 300 horsepower. The climb rate's a little worse, and the overall performance is a little worse. However, this plane will still serve you well, no matter what. The same story goes for the King Cobra or the Aerocobras. They all handle the same. The P400 is relatively simple. The two Aerocobras are actually pretty decent. I highly recommend flying these. But in terms of overall versatility, I recommend flying the P39N due to its rockets and overall improved armament. So what was the C5 like to fly then? Well, it was exactly the same as the A10 really. Nothing really special here. It was exactly the same. It climbed about exactly the same. It dived pretty much the same, apart from maybe 1 or 2 extra miles an hour. The high altitude performance was the same. Not much differences, people. But it did serve me well. However, on Japanese maps, I highly recommend taking a 30-minute fuel load, as you're going to see. So we're going to jump right in, and I will just say that is squadrons. That is not it. Don't ask me about squadrons, people. I am not interested in them. So, we do have James Prawn appearing in his B-25. Sadly though, he dies. But not before we encounter a team killer. Well, an attempted team killer. James Prawn doesn't stand for it. And I'm glad he doesn't. I've basically told him, if anyone shoots you, shoot him down. Don't care how bad the penalty is or what happens. Shoot him down. They are not going to learn a lesson unless you teach them a lesson. So for the first part of the video, I'm actually going to jump to James Prawn. You can see here, he's climbing normally in his P-25. Obviously, he was on Discord and he was just climbing away, getting his plane moving and all that. And for no reason whatsoever, I do apologise if you can hear any banging in the background, that is a door. And for some strange reason, Prezes 103 decides to open up on him. Now, for some strange reason, the replay doesn't actually show the tracer fire from both of them, but James Prawn's plane was taking damage from this guy. But James Prawn being James Prawn, he doesn't stand for it. And he teaches Prezes a lesson that he's probably not going to forget for a while. What the replay doesn't show is that James Prawn took right engine damage and overall fuselage damage from this guy. And he's part of a squadron, people. And it would appear they are a German squadron. But yes, if you see this guy, Prezes 103, he's a scumbag. Shoot him down. Anyway, this is not about team killers. This is about the P-63. Now, to bear in mind, I only have 20 minutes of fuel on board. Because I was a doofus and forgot to pack 30. Obviously, I'm too busy watching J-Prawn shoot down the opposing B-25. And J-Prawn doesn't stand for it by putting "then don't shoot me, you twat," because, well, he just cut him apart. Prezes doesn't even understand what he did. The second James said, "You just shot me," I said, "Shoot the bastard down." We're not standing for it anymore, people. But as you can see, the climb rate on the P-63 C-5 is exactly the same as the A-10. It is perfectly adequate for its battle rating. I find myself being outclimbed rarely, but it is actually pretty good in the climb. I mean, I can't deny it. This is a battle rating 5 match, I forgot to mention that. But James Prawn is now going to form up with me in a way, and he's going to stick with me. I do like the P-63's overall cockpit design, but in terms of sim, I would not recommend using it in sim due to its massive struts, which give a massive blind spot to the vehicle or to the aircraft. The Aerocobras are not much better. But overall, this plane does climb pretty well, so it will be able to compete at high altitude with most of the threats that you will see. There are a couple of exceptions, sorry. J2Ms, 109 G2 Trops, and anything that gets an airborne. Chief among which bombers. You might be able to climb up to the bombers if you get lucky, but I wouldn't rely on it. The 37 is perfectly adequate to deal with pretty much any bomber that you see. And what's ironic here is, Elite Soldier is about to put in "Please do not die," and he's about to die in about 30 seconds time. Obviously, I'm paying attention to around me, and I've just spotted the numerous dots that are coming in. Now, teamkiller magic displays a remarkable amount of lack of situational awareness, because the J2M is actually sneaking up on him, and he actually has no idea where from. And well, that's why you always look around you, buddy, because that wouldn't have happened now, would it? You get shredded, as you would imagine. And now James is obviously alerting me that there are multiple fighters climbing. He's going to be my bait, so to speak. But at this moment, I am weaponing the engine to try and outclimb the J2M after it dove on the P-47, as you would imagine. I've got to, really. It's my only hope against him. And there he is. Yes and no 78 RUS, in other words, a Russian player. I love shooting down Russian players because half the time they bitch, but this one didn't. He displays a remarkable lack of situational awareness, and he pays the price for it. First air kill. Now, J-Prawn, let's me know that there's actually an A6M5 trying to catch me. Keyword there. You will outrun most threats at altitude. On the deck, you will outrun most threats. However, P-47s, you will not. 109 G2s, you will. Most Japanese planes, you will. A7M1s, you will, but only just, which you will see in this battle. Now, for some strange reason, the Zero gets the bright idea to come head on. Not very smart. Now, is it, kiddo? Second air kill. That Zero may have additional armoured plating, but it's not going to make a big difference when 50 cals are flying through your aircraft. Now at this point I'm starting to get a little annoyed because I see the P-38 going for bots. They make no difference to the outcome of the battle, buddy. They may drop the tickets a little bit, but I'd rather you focus on the fighters. And I am going to call him out on this by saying, P-38, you're entirely fucking useless. Engage fighters. I'm bored of seeing plays like this. This is all he's going to do all game, people. Until he gets bounced. Just thought I'd alert you. Obviously the Corsair down there is currently getting gangbanged by two A7Ms. And while I'm rushing over to try and help, I'm dropping a bit of altitude to come and help him. But it's too late. The Corsair is already dead. He just doesn't know it yet. And there he goes. Now only one A7M is actually being shown at the moment. The second one is just over there. He was going to bounce the Corsair, but the first A7M actually managed to kill him. And the P-38 has been bounced and killed by the second A7M. James Prawn's still alive, luckily. However, he will not be for much longer. The thing is about fighting the Japanese is you always need an altitude advantage, no matter what. James Prawn now gets bounced by an A6M3. He gets his elevators and rudders torn off his plane, but he manages to kill him. But unfortunately, James Prawn enters a flat spin. And without any elevator authority, or, well, you don't even have authority, mate. It's not going to end well for you. And this is where I get bounced by a second A7M. Obviously, you will not be able to outturn pretty much any Japanese fighter. You will lucky to outturn a B7A2 if you're lucky, but at this point, I've got both of them on my tail. I'm trying effortlessly to try and shake them off. Well, I should say, I'm trying everything, I should really say. And I'm absolutely wepping the living hell out of my engine to try and outrun these guys. You can see HDH, however you say the rest of your name, pal. He is right on my ass. And I'm doing slight jinking maneuvers because I know I can retain my energy better. I take some slight damage, but luckily it doesn't do a lot of damage. Overall, I'm glad it didn't hit the cooling system is all I'll say. Third A7M joins the party, but I'm outrunning him. I'm just pulling away. There is nothing this A7 can do. He breaks off, luckily. But like I say, people, I highly recommend the P-63s. They're very good aircraft. They perform very well. And I call the P-51 pilot, just who you can see down there, Lucifer, a legend, because without him, well, the A7 wouldn't have broke off and I'd have had to have wasted even more fuel keeping away from him. Now there are only 5 enemy aircraft left. 1 B7, 3 A7M1 NK9Hs, which are the premiums, and a Ki-61T. Now, I was considering breaking what I call the gentleman's code in this battle. The gentleman's code is you do not strafe an aircraft on the runway. But I was actually considering it to win this battle. You'll see what I mean in a few moments. So the Ki-61 is coming to join the fight. The B7 has even come in for a crack at one of our P-63s, but he's now turned around. We have all of them at low altitude. We know where all of them are, and we just have to boom and zoom. However, we have just lost our F4U4 because he got shredded by the Ki-61. That's a shame, but the P-63 in front of me is actually doing the right thing by baiting the Ki-61 up and giving him, well, making him lose his energy. That's what we need to do. Now you can see down there, the guy who was chasing me earlier in his A7M, well, one of them, he is trying to land, and this is where I was saying to James Prawn in Discord, I was thinking of breaking the gentleman's code. But he was saying, you might not have a choice at this point, mate. And to be honest, I was going to do it. But I still thought, no, it's not fair on him. For those of you who strafe on runways, you're a coward and you're a scumbag. It's not fair on the other player. Yes, it may seem like you're better than them for making them land, but half the time they have no choice but to land, and I see it as a dick move. I get a couple of hits into that A7, and I pull immediately back up. Please use your energy wisely, people. There goes the P-51 strafing one of the A7s out on the runway. As I said, gentleman's code, I'm not breaking it anytime soon. There is some slight AA fire coming from the ground on this map. Those are the pillboxes with the AA guns around them. I wasn't too concerned at the moment because I was slightly higher than them. But even so, it is around about this moment where I'm down to just around about 5 minutes of fuel. The Ki-61 is currently turning. I decide to have a crack at him. I get a couple of hits. An A7 comes right in front of me. I dodge out of the way. I decide, right, I'm going to get rid of the B7. There goes that little tow rag. Third kill. The Ki-61 breaks onto me. He hits me with a couple of 50 cals, but I'm just pulling away. At this point, I actually cranked the throttle back because I was concerning my fuel load here. But now I decide I need to get some more altitude, and I'm going to let the team know my fuel situation. We have 5 minutes to end this before I run out of fuel. That's not even with web. With web, it will drain a lot quicker in this thing. That is one thing to note. If you're planning on, well, if you're on a big map like this and you can only land on carriers, please bring 30 minutes and web wisely. But anyway, the second P-63 comes in to try and take out HCH, who engaged me earlier and tried to catch me. I wouldn't recommend trying to outrun A7s with stock, but if you've nearly spaded like I was in this battle, you'll do just fine. I spaded this plane 3 battles later. That gives you an idea of how much I had to do. I think I was researching the fuselage repair at this time. I'll also let the replay end and we'll go back to the hangar and I will discuss a suitable upgrade path that I recommend you guys go down. So now this A7M1's taken some critical damage here. I finish him off. The second and final A7M is all on his own. And while there's 3 of us and only 1 of him, one of us is only going to get a kill. And lucky me, it is me. Ace in a day against the Japanese. And that is it. I would have run out of fuel around about 3 minutes later, people. So I'm glad we ended that when we did. So if you want me to do more things like I'm going to present to you in the future for Spade reviews, I will gladly do so. So for the P-63s, I highly recommend getting radiator first, then go for offensive 12mm, compressor, engine injection, wings repair, cover, 37mm, and then clean up. I do also recommend getting the bomb racks early on, because the amount of times I've had to save my team in terms of ground forces by using these bombs may not happen much, but when it does, you'll get more respect for it by saving the team. That's just my opinion anyway. So if you want to see more recommendations on upgrade path, in my opinion, bear in mind it's my opinion, so it can change depending on your preference. I will gladly do so, and I will catch you all on the next one for the Spade review, which will probably be the Mark 18 Mosquito. Anyway, I will catch you guys on the next one.